What's going on, guys? Welcome back to round 2 of Music Publishing 101, where I'm breaking down all of the not so necessarily fascinating stuff about the music business, but it's going to really help you to collect all the money that you deserve as an artist, and it's going to help you to stand alone without waiting on a record label. Today I want to break down royalties, because I know a lot of times we hear about royalties, we know it's money that's supposed to come to us from music, but we don't know really all the royalties, what they do, what they mean, and how they are split up. So today I want to talk about that, and let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? It's Pim Fried Rice. Welcome to the Music in the Millions podcast, the show where we give independent rappers the tools and resources needed to be successful without waiting on a record label. As you can see, today I'm zoomed out a little bit more than usual. That's because I gotta bring out the trusty whiteboard, because to be honest, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain without the whiteboard. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to be writing on it, drawing on it, and kind of explaining the different royalties as we go. So if you're excited to learn about all the money that you should be collecting as a rapper and how that should be split between you and your label, or you and yourself if you're independent, like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because you're about to learn some gems. We all know, or we may not all know, but we should all know that your music, whenever you make a song, it gets broken down into 2 different parts. Alright, so first off, you have your composition, which basically is referring to the idea of your song. So that would be the melody, that would be, you know, the chords that are used in the song, that would be the lyrics that are used in the song. That is not the actual song itself, it's the idea of the song. So we're just gonna draw a little brain right here. That's my brain right there. So there we go. That's the idea of the song. Alright, and then over here you have your master, which is the actual song. This is the recording. So we'll draw a microphone just like that. So this is the actual song itself. So you know how like a lot of times you'll hear artists be like, oh, well, the label owns my masters. Like for example, Taylor Swift, she recently went back to all of her old albums, or at least some of her old albums, and she re-recorded the entire album. The reason she did that is because her masters were locked up from the label she was under. She was not able to have control of her masters. So what she did was she took the composition, which is the chords, the lyrics, everything, the idea of the song, and re-recorded it, which basically canceled out the label owning the masters that they had, because now there was new masters for the songs. So that's something to keep in mind. A song, whenever you create it, there's 2 different copyrights for the song: the composition and the master, and both of these collect their own royalties. So we're going to cover the master first, because that's the one that people mostly learn about and the ones that most people get introduced to first. And so off of your master recording, you have 2 different bubbles that come down here. Alright, and the first one, these are both of the different royalties that are collected from the master recording. So whenever this song is actually played. Alright, so the first one that you got is performance royalties. And now performance royalties is whenever your song is played by a non-interactive radio service. So what that means is like Pandora, that means Sirius XM, that means iHeartRadio. Basically, it's a radio program online where it's curated by a DJ. It's not people picking what song they want to listen to. It's not a playlist that they're listening to. It's curated by a DJ. That's called non-interactive radio, and it collects a performance royalty. So that's important to know, okay? And that is usually collected by a company called Sound Exchange, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. That's its whole own video. I'm going to talk about that in later weeks, so make sure you guys stick around for that one. So you have your performance royalties, but then you also have your master recording royalties. And I'm going to write that this is collected by Sound Exchange down here. Cool. And your master recording royalties is whenever someone listens to the actual song. So that would be Spotify, Amazon, you know, Apple Music, and people are actually listening to your song. That is the master recording royalty, and that's paid out by your distributors. So Distrokid, CD Baby, Tunecore, any of these companies where you upload and distribute your music through, that is who's going to be collecting your master recording royalty. Now, these are the 2 royalties that are collected off of the master itself. So whenever people physically are listening to the music, that's how you're getting paid. So right there, that's something you want to keep in mind. And now we're going to move over to the composition side, which is a little bit more complicated, but it's still pretty easy to understand once you see it broken down. Alright, so off of the composition, you still have 2 bubbles that come off of it. There we go, just like that. And you have your performance royalties again. So no matter which side of the song it is, you're going to have a performance royalty. But it's a little bit different on each side. So on this one, right here with your performance royalty, it actually breaks down into two different spots. So for your master, you are going to get the performance royalty because it's whatever your distribution company collects that goes to you as the artist. If you're independent and you're using, like I said, Distrokid, Tunecore. Now the performance royalty over here for the composition breaks down into two more circles. So first off, you got your pub share, which I'll talk about that in 1 second, and you got your writer's share. And now the writer's share is anybody who is involved in physically writing this song or coming up with this song. So that would be the producer, that would be the lyricist, that would be any featured, session musicians or anything like that. They all get a writer's share, and that percentage is split up based on the number of people who participated, also whatever agreements is made between those people. Sometimes producers get more, sometimes artists get more. That's going to be discussed between you and the people involved in the song. So that is the writer's share. Also off of that performance royalty, you're going to get a publisher share. And now if you're independent, your publisher share goes to you. And now this is why it's so important for people to stay independent, because you don't just get paid as a writer, you actually get paid twice. You get paid as a publisher as well. If you're signed to a record label, your record label is going to get the publishing share. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're independent, you get all the money. You get both of these things right here. And now a company called Song Trust is who collects your publishing share. And there's other companies that do it. I personally prefer Song Trust, and that's another video. I'm going to break that down and talk to you guys about that because it's its whole other thing. Oh, and one thing I do want to keep in mind to let you guys know is with this performance royalty, this is obviously whenever the song is performed. Based off of the name, you should have figured that. But it's not just if you perform the song. So this is if anybody in the world performs the song. So that could be a cover, that could be, a cover band actually doing a live performance. Because what it is it's getting a royalty off the idea of the song, not the actual master itself. So because someone's covering a song that you came up with and you composed as the lyricist or as the producer or as whatever you are, you're going to get a small percentage of them performing that song. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So that is any time someone performs that song. So even if they publish a cover to Distrokid, which then goes to like Apple Music and Spotify, everything like that. So keep that in mind. That is huge. And if you're independent, you get both of these. So that's something super awesome. All right, then right here, you have mechanical royalties. And mechanical royalties is whenever it's played. So that would be, like I said, Distrokid, Sound Exchange, Apple Music. Anytime someone's actually listening to your song, you're going to get the composition share of the royalties. And that also breaks down into a pub share. So that means if you own all your masters and you are independent, you're going to get the mechanical royalties, you're going to get the performance royalties, you're going to get the master royalties, you're going to get all of this. But if you are signed to a label, you're going to get some of this. Actually, sometimes you don't even get this. So you get some of this potentially, and then you're going to get this, a little bit of the writer's share. That's it. So if you're independent, as you guys can see, this is all your money. You literally get to collect this. I mean, obviously, if there's any featured artists or producers, you break it down over here with the writer's share on the composition end. And also, if you guys work out any deals over here. But that's it. That's royalties right here, guys. It's honestly not super difficult, and it breaks down into these two bubbles, just like that. And now in future weeks, I'm going to talk about Sound Exchange, like I said, and Song Trust, which are companies that help you to collect all these royalties, because if you're not signed up with them, you're going to be missing out on some of these, and I don't want you to miss out. I want you guys to get all the money that you earn, because listen, man, I'm excited about collecting money. I'm excited about learning more about the music business. I hope you guys are as well. If you're excited, drop in the comments right now, say I'm excited, because we're going to start getting paid even more money than you thought possible from your music. So that being said, guys, that is today's episode, learning a little bit more about music publishing and royalties and how they break down. Catch you guys next week when we talk about companies like Song Trust and Sound Exchange.